With the popularity of dried materials and all of the emphasis on texture and designs, it's really kind of fun to create something for Valentine's Day that maybe becomes a keepsake that they can keep afterwards. Even with the trend with plants and the combination with succulents and cactus and all types of tropical plants, that life it brings into your home is something that they can keep afterwards after the flowers are gone. So I wanted to do a combination of both of these. And if you're preparing this for Valentine's Day, this is something you can do way ahead of time for any holiday. It doesn't necessarily have to be for Valentine's Day. You can do it for any holiday or even everyday designing. But what I've done is I've taken a container and the bottom I've got floral foam and created this frame structure out of just curly willow. So using curly willow as your base structure to bring it up and around, and then adding detail then to that top. In the very center of this, I've just added a hanging heart. This is a ceramic heart that has a succulent in it. So this is something then afterwards they can take it off of this and they can put it, hang it in their window, or they could put it anywhere that they wanted to have that extra keepsake afterwards. And I think that's essential to maintain our customer base, is to give them something that they can keep after. So having that really is kind of fun. Incorporating the dried materials kind of gives it a little bit of that trend that we're seeing with the complications of dried. Here I have some bunny tails that I've added to this. I can give a shout out to Floral Supply Syndicate for some great products that they have. These are the bunny tails that I've just done in little groupings and just glued them right into the framing base that we've done with the curly willow. And then I also added ribbon. Ribbon is another thing that's really becoming very, very popular. We're seeing that use of ribbon, and just adds that contrast to the dried materials. Drieds can come across a little dull. So adding something else to them is really essential when you want to kind of brighten that up, adding permanent botanical materials, ribbons, anything that you can that will help just accentuate that. But it's all about the textures. So I've just added a little bit of white lace to this, not a lot, just a little bit, and just added a little piece just to give me just a little bit of difference in that surface value that you see. So a little bit of ribbon goes a long ways too, which is really kind of fun. So we're going to take it from there, and I'm going to add to this, and I'm going to kind of hide behind it, so sorry about that. But I want to enhance this line movement a little bit, so I've got some grevillea that I'm going to be adding to this. And this just enhances the framing that we already have created. And so adding it then another texture. And again, I can't emphasize enough the fact of texture and how important texture is in creating our designs. And how important it is even just with the trends that we're seeing. It's all about having that surface quality. It's being able to walk up to a design and not have to touch it, but know how it feels. And that's what's exciting, and that's what's really kind of fun to have that. And have that nice contrast balance. Because I've got this grevillea that I'm adding to this. And then I also want to add some pittosporum, which has, grevillea has that kind of that rough surface. It's that variegation, that kind of that zigzag feel that you see with this. And then we're going to add just this sleek surface of the pittosporum. And what that pittosporum is going to do is soften that. So it's going to kind of tone it down just a bit. And I just want to do a small arrangement at the bottom. I know our emphasis with the container, that white is very dominant, and white always is very dominant. So you have to kind of tone that down just a bit, but you also have to repeat it, unless you want that to be the only domination in your design, and I don't. I want to be able to use that just as my base structure, and it kind of ties my heart into my container. So then that way I can do that color balance. And I'll add a little bit of white flowers to this in just a second. So I've kind of just taken this to another level and just added just this circling, this collaring of foliage. I'm going to add a little bit of grevillea in there too, just to give it. And then let's just add some detail. So I've got some beautiful lilies that I want to just put, these beautiful ornamental lilies. Tuck them in nice and deep. And as I talked about before, this whole structure can be done ahead of time, and it's setting in your design room ready to be used. Add fresh foam to it, or wet the foam, and then you can just add flowers to it. And it's a really fun way to add some quick detail to a design. And it gives that customer just something extra, I feel. I think it's just really kind of fun. So just adding some flowers to the very base. Tucking that down in there. I want you right there. As you can see, I'm going to turn it just a little bit so I can see the front. Just adding a little bit of detail, get you poked down in there a little bit further. There we go. Let our Oriental lilies do what they want to do. I got some carnations. These are pink that I want to put down into that very base, right on top of the foam, to draw my eye in. And also, the shorter the stem of the flowers, the longer they're going to last. So if I can put these flowers compactly down inside there, they're going to last a long time. So you can prep this even then and have it ready for the holiday way before the holiday time frame, because they all are going to hold up really well. Add that in. Add one more to this side. And then I have some beautiful Genestra that I want to add. This time of year, oh my goodness, Genestra is just amazing. And I love the smell. That fragrance makes such a difference in the design. It's that little sweetness that you see. So I'm just kind of following that same pattern that I did before and just kind of going around with that collaring with a little bit of Genestra into that. So it just adds a little bit of softness and some detail. Again, just enhancing the textures that we're going across with, which I think is really kind of fun. Come on, that's a tough one. There we go. I'm working this all the way around. And then I want to come back with just a little bit of Lysianthus. And I've got some white Lysianthus that I just want to pull. It's just the color impact, just to pull it up from the container. You know, you think about all these rules that we have in floral design, and it's really kind of important to be classically trained in floral design to be able to understand why we do what we do. And I think that's listening and understanding and reading and watching, I think, is what gives us that importance. So make sure you pay attention to what you're doing with the design, just not putting flowers into a container, but there's a reason for doing everything. Now I would continue this around the back with the Lysianthus, but I just want you to see how we've done here. So we have this beautiful keepsake container. They can take this out afterwards, hang it wherever they want to. Beautiful dried design done ahead of time. That can be that great framework that's pre-prepped for any holiday, and then just inserting a few fresh flowers to that to complete the whole picture. I think it's really kind of fun to have that keepsake container. The dominant part, of course, is that heart that shows off in the design, and we've got this beautiful suspension. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy Valentine's Day. See you next time.